All right, in this video, we're going over a case study of how we built and managed a sales process that scaled an agency from doing about $100,000 a month to collect over $5 million in 1 year. It's actually closer to $6 million, including crypto payments and wire transfers, but the Stripe screenshot says $5 million, so we'll just go with that. This is without just spending more money on ads or relying on a closer's ability to pressure prospects into buying with outdated sales tactics like objection handling. So we've actually done this exact same thing now for over 50 agencies, coaching programs, software companies, and consulting offers. My business partner, Rich Levat, has been doing this exact same thing for 7, 8, 9-figure brands for about 3 years now. And myself, I've either been a closer or a sales manager for an offer in pretty much every single niche in the online business or high ticket sales industry. I provided a couple screenshots to show this isn't necessarily just going to be like the 2 to 3K, biz ops or anything like that. I would say the average LTV of, the clients or the customers that we've worked with have been at minimum around like $15,000, $20,000 deal sizes to upwards of like 50 to sometimes close to $250,000. 30K, there's like a 58K here, 36, 62, 48, you get the gist. But we've also used this exact same sales process to scale a brand new offer from zero to collect over $300,000 in less than 90 days. We implemented this into an existing offer that brought in an additional $1.4 million in revenue in 90 days. We also implemented the sales process into a brand new trading offer with zero social proof or case studies and took them from zero to collect $710,000 in 90 days. Definitely a bit of a unicorn offer, but the principles still apply. So for who this is for, like some of these businesses did start from zero and we scaled them to over 6 figures per month using this system. But I would say this is for sure going to work best for you. If you already have a proven offer people want, you have case studies with real results, and you have a reliable way to book qualified sales calls. Usually this means you're doing at minimum like 20 to 50K per month. But if you're already doing over $100,000 a month, it would be unreasonable for you to not get an asymmetrical return on your time or money by implementing this system. And one of our clients, Davi, perfect example of this, he's only doing about 5 to 10 sales calls per week. At the time, he was doing $60,000 a month. We ended up helping him do $60,000 in a single week and scale to over $100,000 a month without spending any more money on ads. So the exact same marketing dollars that was making him $60,000 a month was now making him over $100,000 a month. And you can watch the video. We have a case study on our YouTube channel. If your lead flow is right, it could be a 100x ROI. Thanks, Davi. So what we're going to go over in this video is number one, why your sales process is the number one factor in limiting your revenue growth. Number two, why the conventional high ticket sales process is outdated, the problems that hold high ticket offers back from scaling. Number four, the exact process we use, why it works and how it fixes these conventional problems. And number five, how you can work with us one-on-one to build this exact same system into your business within 14 days, and we'll cover pricing as well. So why your sales process is the number one factor in limiting your revenue growth, and know why it's not always going to be getting more leads in the calendar. Because once you're paying to generate leads, say you're paying paid ads or a cold email infrastructure or organic leads, you have a steady flow of sales calls. The next step isn't always just cramming as many calls onto the calendar as possible. Because if you don't have a proper, efficient system to predictably and efficiently close those deals, then you're just dumping more money into a leaky bucket. And so I've seen most businesses actually fail to scale because they rely on their sales reps' ability to pressure prospects into buying instead of optimizing to get a repeatable process that will profitably convert cold traffic. So every offer that we've worked with, we've always kind of handled different roles. Like sometimes we built everything from scratch. Other times we're involved in marketing. Other times we're not. Sometimes we plug into existing offers already doing $20,000 to $200,000 a month. But what always stays the same from a sales process point of view is we take over everything from after the lead comes in, whether that's like an opt-in or a book call, until they become a paying customer. And so we focus on converting leads at a higher percentage for more cash up front with a shorter sales cycle. This means we focus on building, managing, and optimizing the entire sales process, including, not necessarily limited to, like the sales funnel, CRM and automations, the email, SMS nurture flows, KPI tracking, sales rep placement and training, sales assets that pre-sell, pre-educate, and pre-qualify our prospects before they're even on the sales call. Navigating is actually very important. Navigating a 1 to 2 call close depending on your offer and lots of different logistics. Writing sales scripts, not as simple as it sounds. We'll get into that in a little bit. But most importantly, where most people who try to do something similar completely fail is knowing what you're doing to actually iterate the process. Because what most business owners and conventional sales managers fail to get results with are actually training the sales reps to hit KPI. So KPI tracking, reviewing sales calls, team meetings, coaching, and training. And then taking the data you learn from that to manage and iterate and improve that process based on that data. So like identifying objections, misconceptions, friction in the sales process, market feedback, or sales call analysis. Because most people can't do this because all they're doing is just trying to recycle outdated sales tactics that don't work anymore. That's why they fail to get results. That's why they fail to scale offers. Because when you do this right, you can create a system that will predictably and efficiently convert traffic, increasing your close rate, leading to a higher ROI on your marketing spend. This is how you scale and speed up the velocity of growth. Because if you want to scale your offer, obviously you want to spend more on ads, you want to send more cold emails or invest in content to grow organically. But if you're not able to outpace of what you're spending and what you're actually earning, then you're never going to be able to scale and the entire system falls apart. And so if you want to improve any of this, this is all for you. So let's talk about why the conventional high-ticket sales process is outdated. For 99% of the clients that we work with, they come to us and this is kind of their sales process. So the booked call, depending on what you're doing from a marketing standpoint, tends to be without this kind of all dialed in. A vanity metric, low intent, high curiosity. Typically it's optimized for quantity. So not a lot of friction, getting a lot of people to book. The pre-call typically just tends to be a waste. A lot of it is just automated reminders, reminding people of the appointment. And then the sales call, typically, again, if you fail to kind of take advantage of pre-call, you're just speaking to uneducated, unqualified prospects where they're looking to learn more. And whether, the business owner is taking the sales calls or you have a sales rep, they're going for the close, they're going for the one call pitch. And then if the prospect's not ready to move forward, they'll obviously object to sales, say, let me think about it, let me speak to my partner. And the prospect's not ready to purchase, the sales rep goes to handle their objections. The problem is 99% of high ticket business owners think this is what a sales process is. It's just getting a bunch of people to book a call, having a sales rep try to hard close them, and then when the prospect doesn't want to move forward, they object to the sale and the sales rep tries to handle their objections. They think this is what sales is, and that's the problem. So the problems that hold high ticket offers back from scaling. Marketing and sales funnel minimizes friction, generating a high volume of low quality prospects. Prospect shows the call just wanting to learn more, they're curious, not ready to buy. Prospect thinks it's an education call, they're there to learn more. The sales rep treats it like a decision call. This is an inefficient sales process that leads to these mismatched expectations. It causes sales resistance and ultimately creates objections. And where most businesses get it wrong is the business owner or sales manager will misdiagnose these problems and blame the sales rep. They're just going to say, well, you should have went deeper in discovery or you should have handled those objections better. But they're completely missing the point. The sales reps are not the problem. The sales process is the problem. Think of it this way, right? The root cause is the inefficient sales process to convert cold leads. The root cause is the sales process that creates the objections. So the symptom is the objections on sales calls. Instead of just focusing on fixing the surface level issues, you need to focus on creating a system that converts cold leads into buyers, because without this, no amount of handling the let me think about it objection will ever fix the real issue. Anyone saying otherwise is just ignoring how effective sales processes work, and they're clinging to outdated sales tactics that are no longer to help you deliver results in 2025 and beyond. They're probably just trying to sell you some NEPQ course or something. So think about it this way, right? The feedback loop. In other words, when a lead doesn't close, the business owner or sales manager will just blame the sales rep for not being able to get around the objection or digging deeper in emotional discovery. But since they're not diagnosing the real problem, it keeps happening, the business stays stuck in the same cycle with no way to break free. So in other words, you're using an outdated sales process. You're using a sales process that will fundamentally create objections because the expectations are not aligned. And then when you see those objections, they try to diagnose it and tell the sales reps that you just need to get better at handling objections. And so the sales reps will do their objection handling training, their NEPQ frameworks for discovery, but they'll continue to use an outdated sales process that creates objections, and the cycle continues and continues and continues. When the reality of the situation is the process is fundamentally broken to begin with and does not fix the root cause of the issue. This results in an over-reliance on sales reps' ability to handle the objections, aka treating the symptom. It results in sales rep churn when they get burnt out and they're just trying to handle objections all day. The business owner thinks they just can't find good closers. I probably get 3 or 4 people DM me this on Twitter on a daily basis saying, I just can't find good closers. Nobody can seem to close, when again, the problem is the sales process and maybe the offer, as opposed to actually just the skill set of the closers themselves. But most importantly, for a lot of business owners, they're just burning ad dollars on an inefficient system. This is why businesses fail to scale. They cannot build a high velocity sales team. They may generate a lot of leads, but they lack a process that profitably converts cold traffic into buyers, thus not allowing them to scale. And the reason why this is outdated is today's market is more skeptical and more sophisticated than ever. Everyone's already been burned by an agency, a coach, a consultant, or software. So you need to not only adapt your offers, but adapt your sales process to overcome skepticism and the sophistication of the market to actually build trust that's required to sell to cold traffic. Because without this, you're just relying on your sales reps' ability to handle objections, and trust me, that does not scale. But enough complaining. Let's talk about the exact process we use, why it works, and how it fixes these conventional problems. And so booked call, for example, is actually something that's very interesting. And while we're not a traditional marketing agency in the sense that I'm helping you generate leads, it's very important to understand how the messaging that you're using in marketing will actually lead to the intent and the quality of the lead that you get on the calendar. Because you can get 100 leads book on calls, but if they don't have the right, understanding, if their expectations aren't aligned, if they're very, very low intent, they're just kind of curious, then it doesn't matter. And so the advantage of having someone who actually knows what they're doing is being able to balance the continuum of quality versus quantity of leads. And then pre-call, we really focus on building an asset-based sales funnel where we can pre-educate, pre-sell, and pre-qualify prospects before they're even on the sales call. Because when you can effectively do this, it moves away from being an education call where you're just teaching someone finally about the offer offer, it can move like a step past that to be a decision call. So you have higher intent conversations with more prepared and qualified prospects. And the bridge concept, I'll get into a little bit more about what this actually means, but it's the idea of just being able to leverage multiple different offers or next steps to capture a higher majority of prospects with value, as opposed to just trying to hammer them with objection handling reframes and pressure them into buying. Because when you can do this effectively, the feedback loop is where if a lead doesn't close, you iterate the process. You adjust the offer, the next steps, you address objections, misconception, and points of friction in the sales funnel. Because this optimizes the process as a whole, reducing reliance on a sales rep's ability to handle objections. So when you can actually modernize the sales process like this, the goal becomes to identify market trends, objections, questions, misconceptions on sales calls, so you can refine the offer and the sales process to be as close to order taking as possible, because that is more efficient and that scales. Because when you do this effectively, it reduces sales rep churn because you have a system that doesn't depend on closers' individual skill set. You have a proven, repeatable sales process that get results no matter who's closing. Closers can steadily improve with clear feedback and clear data, removing the guesswork. And most importantly for a lot of business owners is you maximize the ROI on marketing spend with a fully optimized, high converting sales process that can turn cold traffic into paying customers, making scaling a million times easier. Let's talk about exactly how this works and how we build this into businesses A through Z. First and foremost, you have to build the foundation, build the systems to allow the magic to happen. So CRM and automations. This is going to automate follow-up and lead nurturing, so your closers and setters don't have to do everything manually. KPI tracking, we're going to track everything like metrics from show rate to offer rate, and lead quality to pinpoint areas for improvement, to remove the guesswork and make data-driven decisions. As kind of like, corporate jargon that sounds, it sounds simple, but a lot of businesses in the high-ticket sales space completely misdiagnose KPIs. So for example, a low show rate. Typically, this means there's an issue with the offer quality or like the resonance in the market or with the value proposition, not just pre-call automations. A lot of sales managers or business owners will say, oh, show rate's low, let's hammer them with more automations. That does not fix the root cause of the problem. Same exact idea with low close rates. If you have someone in there who does not know what they're looking for or does not know how to actually understand how to attribute these metrics, you'll just see a low close rate. And the obvious thing is, oh, the closers can't close, we need to get better at handling objections. When a lot of times it has to do with lead quality, offer positioning, market fit, sometimes issues with marketing. Misdiagnosing these metrics will just keep your business stuck, going around in circles with no progress and never being able to scale. Sales funnel. This is kind of what I talked about earlier, where just being able to manage the continuum of friction to optimize over time to get the highest quantity of the highest quality of leads. Next, placing sales reps. We actually have a coaching program of almost 200 sales reps in there already trained on this exact same sales process that we could just plug into different offers. That reduces the amount of time it takes to actually train them to KPI. You can plug someone in there who's ready to hit the ground running. And then after that's taken care of, create sales assets, right? Because the more you use assets instead of relying on sales reps, the more efficient and effective your process becomes. And ideally, again, you want to iterate the process until a point where you've created a system that the closer is just taking orders. And the way in which you do this is by creating an asset-based sales process, right? And so the goal with this offer was to create a mini VSL that pre-educates, pre-sells, and pre-qualifies prospects. This gets them ready for the sales call, reducing skepticism and confusion. These assets explain the offer, how it works, why it works, and using proof of past success stories to build trust and filter out bad leads. For this offer, we focus mostly on pre-selling based on market sophistication. So this is actually a PR and social media branding offer. I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but some prospects just didn't understand how PR and social media branding would actually impact the bottom lines of their business. And this resulted on the sales calls to the sales reps spending tons of time educating on the industry as opposed to selling them, which is two very different things. This resulted in low intent sales calls and low close rates. And so the other prospects who have maybe tried PR, they've tried social media branding before, but they were skeptical after a bad experience, this meant tons of objections on sales calls. This resulted in the sales reps burning out and resulted in low close rates. And so to fix this, we created targeted sales assets that for the uneducated aspect of the market, we pre-sold with a clear, logical sales argument showing how PR and social media branding would directly impact ROI for those who did not know. So then for the more sophisticated segment of the market, we explained the unique solution, why conventional PR failed them, and how our USP was better or different and would not fail them like the last company did. Doing this effectively led to higher intent sales calls with pre-educated, pre-sold, and pre-qualified prospects, which boosted close rates. And then as we reviewed sales calls, we could refine these assets, addressing common objections, questions, misconception, and reducing reliance on individual sales reps' ability. And then just to give you some other examples, we've done this for, like I said, 50 plus offers now. For an investment offer, we actually recorded a video showing the return for the last 2 years, client results, risk management features, and answered common objections. Because it was initially set up as like a demo call where prospects didn't know anything prior to that call, and they just expected to learn more. It's a demo call. They expected someone to present them a demo. It got away from like basic education. We moved it to a higher intent sales call with more educated leads, which of course shortened the sales cycle cycle and increase close rates. And then number 3, created sales scripts. People always think this is like the easiest thing in the world. They just Google like a Jeremy Miner script from 5 years ago and use that, but that's not what works anymore. So now that the prospects were educated on the offer, we could take sales calls beyond basic surface level conversations. These scripts moved away from traditional emotional manipulation, outdated objection handling frameworks, and pressure tactics. Instead, crazy idea here, we focused on building trust and positioning the sales rep as a trusted advisor who could clearly explain the direct ROI of PR and social media branding. The goal wasn't to close through emotional manipulation. It wasn't to pressure them into buying. It was to show how our service would directly benefit their business and their bottom line. Crazy idea. We focused on selling them, not pressuring them into buying. Two very different things. So we'll get you 2 very different results. And so kind of the same idea as earlier, like understanding the market that you're working in and understanding its sophistication level is crucial. So for unaware prospects, the rep needs to identify that and sell them the opportunity of PR and sell them the ROI. But for aware prospects who have maybe spent thousands of dollars on PR before, you don't need to sell them the opportunity anymore because they've already been sold that opportunity. They're just looking for the actual result. So the sales rep needs to sell them on the unique mechanism, the unique selling proposition that will actually help them achieve the result while not failing like they did last time. Because if you fail to do this, you will lose a lot of deals. That's the nature of sales. By focusing on ROI, we reduced the sales resistance, we stopped relying on emotional tactics, and we created higher intent sales calls that resulted in higher close rates. And by understanding the market sophistication of each prospects, it helps us build trust and reduce skepticism from bad past experiences. And even if your offer isn't a direct promise of ROI, the goal is still the same. You have to identify the prospect's problems, position the offer as a solution to their pain or a way to achieve their goals. Although that might seem incredibly simple and like it's sales 101, 99% of sales teams still rely on emotional manipulation and pressure tactics to close deals. They neglect to sell the prospect and only optimize to pressure them into buying. That approach does not work for cold traffic in 2025 and beyond, because when you do that, you can only scale up to your closer's ability to beg and convince. And lastly, we created the closed and paid bridge concept. This is basically where we just created multiple different offers to match each segment and budget of the market, giving prospects options instead of just forcing them into one, $10K package up front. Because it doesn't matter how much you handle their objections, a lot of people just won't be ready to do that. We also developed a custom next step based on feedback from the sales calls. Because one major objection was prospects didn't want to pay $10,000 up front for PR without knowing what articles they'd get. Instead of just telling our sales reps to get better at handling objections, we just created a solution to this problem. We introduced a refundable deposit system. It was basically $1,000 down for an interview with a publicist and a synopsis with potential articles, headlines, and SEO optimized titles. This handled objections with value and not desperation. Now, by doing all of this, every lead becomes closable. And so by offering those flexible solutions, we made the sales process feel custom to each prospect, making them feel confident in their investment, increasing cash collected per qualified sales call, and improving close rates. Once again, most of this was actually replaced with AI eventually to reduce the human workload and just make the process more efficient. So for other examples, we actually have a case study of this, which I'll show you in a second. But for lead generation companies, we would use AI to create an ROI customized roadmap based on like their location, home prices, and average client results. For capital raising offers, we used AI to create a market analysis of the prospect's business and funding likelihood based on historical data in their industry. And you guessed it, doing all this shortened sales cycles and increased close rates. And then arguably the most important aspect of all of this is understanding what's going on, and then through KPI tracking, sales team meetings, one-on-one coaching, call reviews, we improved cash collected and close rates for each rep while reducing the length of the sales cycle. We also identified key questions, misconceptions, and objections during sales calls, which allowed us to reverse engineer solutions into the sales script, into pre-call sales assets, and marketing materials. This moves sales calls closer and closer to order taking as humanly possible. This feedback loop creates a high velocity sales team that allows you to hyper scale. And then a few other examples of businesses who we built the sales process into. Davi, I think I mentioned him earlier, was doing about $60,000 in monthly revenue. We helped him do $60,000 in weekly revenue and scale to well past over $100,000 a month without spending a single dollar more on ads. So the exact same lead flow that was making him $60,000 in a month is now making him over $100,000 a month. Damala doubled his close rate in 30 days of working with us. Brandon doubled the amount of clientele he closed in just 1 month of working with us. Bruno, we helped him close $480,000 in 3 months of working with us from a developing country in Nigeria, which is pretty crazy. Ephraim closed a record $130,000 in revenue in 1 month. John, we built the sales process into a brand new offer to collect over $130,000 in revenue in his very first month. Now let's just talk about how you can work with us one-on-one to build this exact same system into your business in less than 14 days, and we'll cover pricing as well. So we have a couple different options. First one is just a one-time build out. This is for you. If you want us to build this process for you, just hand it over to you fully set up, and then just support you so you can crush your current numbers. So what this comes with is, well, first and foremost, they all come with a comprehensive audit, meaning we'll just go through a funnel, we'll go through some sales calls, build out a comprehensive game plan, and then if you like it, we'll just build it all out for you. This can include done-for-you CRM and automations, done-for-you sales assets, done-for-you sales scripts, If you need setters or closers, we'll help you get set up with them as well. And then for the next 2 months, we'll give you hands-on support, one-on-one, like asynchronous communication through Slack with me and my founder, not like a CSM or anything like that. We'll give you weekly sales call reviews and then 2 one-on-one coaching calls per month. The goal of these is to like understand what's happening, review the sales calls, iterate the process, and just make sure you're crushing your current numbers. And then we'll also give you lifetime access to the Close and Paid Sales Process course. This is over 300 video lessons, call recordings, call reviews, and script templates. We currently actually charge sales reps $3,500 for this alone. We'll just get you in there for free so you have lifetime access to that. Then regarding the investment or like pricing for the one-time build out, everything we do is customizable, but we typically recommend having a minimum of $5,000 to $10,000 in order to build this process out for you. If you want to see what would make the most sense for you, of course, just book a call. We'll figure that out. Another option we have is in-house consulting. This is more so for you if you want us to dive into your current sales process, work with you hands-on to optimize and maximize your current results without changing too much. Like, so for example, a lot of times offers making, between like 200K to 500K, they're doing very well, and maybe they have 15, 20 sales reps. They don't want to change everything that's already working, but they just want, some outside opinion to see what gaps they're not seeing, see what bottles they can alleviate. This is typically kind of for those businesses. So we'll start off with a comprehensive audit, build out custom tailored solutions, a la carte services, and just give you one-on-one hands-on support. So asynchronous communication through Slack with our founders, weekly sales call reviews, and coaching calls per month. Again, like the entire idea of this is customizable. That's typically the general idea. Plus, we'll give you or your sales team access to our sales process course, 300 plus video lessons, call recordings, reviews, script templates. And the investment for this, again, everything we do is very customizable. I would typically recommend having at minimum $2,000 to $3,000 a month for monthly consulting. Last but most importantly, not least, is the outsource engine. This is for you if you want us to come in there, build you a sales process and scale it for you. So you can pretty much just step away from sales and have us manage it on an ongoing basis. So same idea in terms of build out. We'll start off with a comprehensive audit. We'll do done for you sales process build out, done for you CRM and automations, done for you sales assets, done for you sales scripts, done for you sales rep placement and training. We'll train the sales reps for you, and then done for you ongoing management, meaning we'll just run the entire sales process. We'll iterate it as we see fit, and then we'll just scale the entire thing for you completely hands-free. You can be as involved as you like. A lot of founders choose to step away, focus on more higher leverage aspects of the business while we just take care of the sales team. This is, done for you KPI tracking and training, done for you sales team meetings, and literally everything that comes through day-to-day as well as long-term vision of you and your sales team. The investment for this, we actually do work with some companies purely on performance base with no upfront fees. Obviously, it has to be, huge upside for us, huge upside for you. So if you want to see if you qualify for that, book a call. Obviously, we can't work with every single client on that basis. We only do that on a select few. But again, if you don't qualify for that, we do recommend, again, having at least a minimum of $5,000 to $10,000 ready to invest. And for ongoing management, we're typically paid a rev share of that. So if any of this resonated with you and where your business is currently at and would want us to audit your sales process and pretty much build out a custom game plan of how exactly we'd help you scale it, there's going to be a link to a type form below. Please just fill it out as accurately as possible. It's not going to be a sales call. We're going to try to piff you. We're not like some closer on there try to piff you in one call. You'll actually speak directly with me on a discovery call just so I can understand your business, see what challenges that you're facing from a sales process standpoint, what you're looking for, and I can answer any questions that you have. The goal of this call is really just to see if a full-blown sales process audit would make sense, because we do obviously put a lot of time and effort into that. What the next steps would be is we'll do a full audit of your sales process, including sales funnel review, spot bottlenecks, and optimize your funnel. We'll do some sales call reviews to identify why your prospects aren't closing. We'll just show you how we'd fix it. We'll review your sales assets. We can analyze pre-call materials to identify gaps and show you how they actually impact other aspects of your sales process. And if we do think we can help, we'll audit everything. We'll build you out a custom strategy outlining exactly what we would do for you. And, if you like it, we can work together. If not, no worries at all. So if you are interested, fill out the application, book a call below, and I look forward to chatting with you soon. Thanks.